From now on, you are going to look at the weeds from a different perspective. We are focusing on how they try to enter your garden. And to prevent weeds entering into your garden, you really need to know how they are trying to go there, how they are trying to enter your flower beds, your planting beds, your lawn, your whole yard. And that's something we are focusing today. Welcome to Garden Design Stories. Hi, I'm Sari, and on this channel we make garden design easy and practical. After being over 20 years as a garden designer, I have designed gardens and consult clients on very many different soils. And like all of us, I think we all have some problems with weeds. And the weeds, they depend so much on what kind of soil you have, on what kind of area you are living, and how you are gardening. But when we just discard those differences between our yards, we really know that there is one common thread, and it is how the weeds are entering your garden. And that is the thing we have to focus when we want to start preventing the weeds entering your garden and using different kind of garden design strategies to be able to do that. And that is something we are going to focus today. It feels like the weeds have been the topic of the day in our community. Like inside the Woodland Edge Garden Kit, I have got questions about how to prevent weeds from creeping in from the woodland. Also here in the YouTube, I have got a question in the comments, and I have been dealing with weeds on my consultation visits when I have been visiting my clients. So that is really an important and timely topic. Whether you are struggling with ground elder or dandelions or some other weed that you maybe don't know yet, I would start with identifying the weed that you are dealing with, because the more familiar you are with the weed, the more easier it will be to prevent it. So search online, use any apps, check books, or ask your neighbor so you really get the grip on the weed. What is the weed that is making trouble in your garden? And after you know the weed, I suggest you that you could go online and start searching information about that weed. Maybe that's not so fascinating as looking at and study beautiful plants, but it's highly important. So search with the name of that weed and really read through all the details you get to know about it, and especially focus on the ways it's going to spread. And when you know the ways this particular weed is spreading, you really have the key to the ways and methods and strategies how to start preventing that to enter your garden, and also how to spread in your garden if you already have that weed there. So that is very important. First you identify the plant, and then you get familiar with the ways and characteristics, how it grows, what it likes, and how it spreads. When you are familiar with the weed that you are struggling with in your garden, and you know what is the characteristic spreading habit for that weed, next you can classify it and categorize it into one of the following categories. And they all are about the way of spreading. So is the weed spreading by seed, by root system, by rhizomes, or by runners? And if you consider, for example, those weeds that are spreading by seed, like the dandelion we mentioned earlier, you know that if you have a meadow close by that is growing full of beautiful yellow dandelions, and when they start seeding and the wind blows from that direction, you will have a lot of seeds entering your garden. So that is one way the weeds are sneaking into your flower beds. The other way is that the soil, it has a seed bank. So when you disturb the soil, it's going to raise some seeds on the surface and they may sprout. And also you may bring seeds into your yard with a new soil, with mulch, with compost, with new plants. So there are many ways how seeds can enter into your garden. And if you have weeds like ground elder, that's quite a challenge. You know that it can have flowers, those white flowers, and if you let it to seed, it's going to spread by seed. But the most struggle is with the rhizomes, because it's growing those white rhizomes that are just going beneath the soil surface, and you can start digging them out. But if you leave even a tiny root fragments to the soil, it's going to sprout and make a new plant. So it again needs a little bit different kind of methods for preventing and also for getting rid of it than those weeds that are spreading by seed. But most important is to know how that weed is really spreading so that you can take action accordingly. And that is strongly related to the idea that preventing weeds really starts before you start weeding. And that's something we talked in the previous video. So if you want to check that out, I think it would be a good starting point for this series. And in the next parts of this video series, we are going to focus on different methods how to prevent those weeds spreading in different ways to enter your yard. And we go that step by step. And I'm very happy that you were here, and thank you for watching. And if you want to follow along to the future parts of this series, please subscribe so you won't miss any of the tips that I'm going to share later. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them. Just write them into the comments, so I will read and answer all of those questions. And then we are going to continue with this weed series in the next part. Thank you and take care. See you next time. Bye for now.